67 degrees north. The Arctic tundra stretches past the horizon. No trees, no shelter, just low ground cover and open sky. The temperature swings 100 degrees between seasons. In winter, darkness lasts months. Yet something survives here, something patient.
Reindeer lichen. Cladonia rangiferina. It looks like coral washed ashore. Pale branches dividing into three, then three again.
But this is not coral. Not a plant, not a moss. It is a lichen. Two organisms living as one.
A fungus provides the structure. An alga generates energy through photosynthesis. This partnership is older than most species alive today. It has outlasted ice ages.
The pale color is not weakness. It reflects excess radiation. Algal cells hide inside the translucent fungal shell. Photosynthesis happens even in weak winter light.
This organism survives complete desiccation. Frozen at -40, baked at +40. Add moisture and it reactivates within minutes. Decades of dormancy broken by a single rain.
Now consider the growth rate. 3 to 11 millimeters per year. A clump the size of your fist took 20 years to form. Possibly 50.
Some of these mats are over a century old. You are looking at compressed time. In the British Isles, it is legally protected, an endangered species.
But in the Arctic, it covers millions of hectares. Vast pale green carpets reaching every horizon. These mats can reach 10 centimeters tall, each branch dividing into 3 or 4 at narrow angles.
The structure holds air, lighter than any conventional food. Every gram is decades of Arctic exposure. Stress compounds accumulate slowly.
Protective polysaccharides, antioxidant molecules, defenses refined over geological time. This is not fast food. This is the slowest food on Earth.
But it feeds an entire ecosystem. Reindeer depend on it for survival. In winter, they dig through snow to reach it. Hooves and muzzles breaking the crust.
Caribou, musk oxen. The entire winter food web rests on this organism. Reindeer lichen is a keystone species. Remove it and the Arctic collapses.
It processes nutrients from bare rock, building soil where none existed. It fixes nitrogen from the air, fertilizing the tundra around it.
After fire, lichen takes decades to return, sometimes a full human lifetime. This vulnerability is the price of patience. Grow slowly, burn quickly.
The lichen does not compete. It endures where nothing else can. It tolerates months of complete darkness and 24 hours of summer sun.
A strategy of survival through stillness. While everything else hurries, it waits. The Sami people of Scandinavia named their seasons by the lichen. When it was soft, when it was frozen, when the reindeer could reach it.
To the Dinoina of Alaska, it was part of the land's provision. Gathered, processed, stored for winter. The Gwich'in carried it dried on long journeys. Emergency food when nothing else was available.
But eating raw lichen is dangerous. The organism defends itself. Usnic acid, potent antimicrobial. It stops bacteria. It also stops human digestion.
Reindeer have evolved specialized gut bacteria to neutralize it. Humans have not. Raw lichen causes nausea, vomiting, severe stomach pain. The defense works.
So how did Arctic peoples learn to eat it safely? Through generations of trial and error. They discovered that alkaline water breaks down the acids. Baking soda, wood ash, Simple chemistry.
Multiple boilings. Multiple rinses. Process that takes days. For millennia, only the reindeer knew how to eat it. Then humans looked closer.
The preparation begins with dried lichen. Brittle, pale, full of bitter acids. First, break it into small tufts. Remove dirt, bark, any debris.
Boil in water with baking soda. 1/4 cup per 3 cups of lichen. 15 minutes at a rolling boil. The alkaline water hydrolyzes the acid bonds. Drain the water. Carries the dissolved poisons away.
Replace the water. Add more soda. Boil again for 15 minutes. Drain again. Rinse thoroughly. Patience is the main ingredient.
Then simmer in fresh water until the lichen turns gelatinous. The texture shifts completely. At this stage, it is already edible. Mushroom-like flavor, earthy, mild.
But in the Russian Arctic, they take it further. Much further. 3 berries define the transformation. Cloudberry, lingonberry, blueberry. Cloudberry, golden and tart. It grows close to the ground in Arctic bogs.
Lingonberry, red and sharp. Cranberry's Arctic cousin. Blueberry, deep purple to black. Grows wild across the boreal forest.
The berries are crushed into juice. Deep color, intense flavor. Sugar and water are added. A sweet, tart infusion liquid.
Now the prepared lichen meets the berry juice. This is the critical step. The hollow tubes absorb liquid instantly. Capillary action pulls juice deep into every branch.
Within seconds, the pale lichen turns deep purple, saturated from the inside out. Other tufts stay natural, bathed, undyed, the base flavor preserved.
Both are then dried and crisped. Low heat, careful timing. Sugar crystallizes as the water evaporates. It creates a glass-like brittleness.
What emerges is two-toned. Beige and deep berry purple in the same jar. A food that took decades to grow. Days to prepare. Centuries to perfect.
The composition is simple. Lichen, sugar, water, cloudberry, lingonberry, blueberry. No preservatives. No artificial additives. The label reads, 100% natural.
Handmade. Small batch. From the Kola Peninsula near Murmansk. Each jar contains 10 to 20 grams. Harvested by hand from the tundra.
The price reflects the reality. Roughly $500 per kilogram. Among the most expensive snack foods on Earth by weight. Comparable to saffron.
This is not a snack for convenience. It is a fragment of the Arctic, preserved. The Sami knew this centuries ago. They built seasonal rhythms around lichen availability.
They mix prepared lichen with berries and animal fat. A paste for winter sustenance. Some ate lichen predigested by reindeer. Directly from the rumen, a delicacy.
In Finland, it was boiled in milk for coughs. In Alaska, brewed as medicinal tea. Traditional medicine, not modern marketing. Centuries of observation behind every use.
The Inuit of Baffin Island used it for eye infections. The Ojibwe bathed newborns in lichen water to give them strength. Each culture found its own use, but all shared the same first step: remove the poison.
The knowledge passed orally for generations. No textbooks, no laboratories, only memory. And the consequence of getting it wrong. Sickness was the teacher.
This preparation ritual is itself a cultural artifact, as valuable as the food it produces. Today, it survives in Russian Arctic communities, in Sami households, in specialty food brands.
The brand is called Arctic Kitchen, handmade in the Kola Peninsula. Every jar represents a chain of knowledge, from the tundra to the kitchen to the shelf.
An organism that took a century to grow, processed through techniques perfected over 1,000 years. For centuries, this knowledge stayed in the Arctic. Then a Danish chef changed everything.
Copenhagen, 2004. A group of Nordic chefs signed a manifesto. The new Nordic Kitchen Manifesto. Local, seasonal, foraged, honest.
Their mission: prove that Nordic ingredients could rival Mediterranean cuisine. Not imitate it, rival it. At the center of this revolution was Noma, a restaurant that would change gastronomy.
Chef René Redzepi. He found ingredients where others saw weeds. He sent foragers into forests and tundra. They brought back moss, bark, lichen, seaweed.
One ingredient stood out: reindeer lichen. Noma's signature: deep-fried reindeer moss, dusted with sep mushroom powder, served with cream fresh.
The plate was dressed with real pebbles and bark, a miniature forest scene in ceramic. One diner wrote, "The texture was so brittle, difficult to hold without crumbling. It tasted of a salty, earthy forest."
Another: the light brown fibers dissolve on the tongue. A sensation unlike any other food. Noma earned 2 Michelin stars. Named the world's best restaurant, repeatedly.
The lichen dish became an emblem. The new Nordic movement made edible. Other restaurants followed. Faviken in Sweden served lichen dusted with dried trout roe.
Huset in Svalbard, the world's northernmost fine restaurant. Lichen foraged steps from the kitchen door. In Canada, chefs brined lichen and flash-fried it. 10 seconds in hot oil, nothing more.
Super light, super crispy. Intense mushroomy and earthy flavor. Chefs ground it into powder for porridges. Used it as thickener in broths.
Meanwhile, in the Russian Arctic, parallel tradition. Not restaurants, festivals. The Tundra Interregional Gastronomic Festival. Held in Naryanmar. 9 Arctic regions represented.
Chicago brought smoked whale lard. Taimyr brought reindeer meat ice cream. Murmansk showcased reindeer lichen chips. Their regional pride.
Arctic Kitchen packages this tradition. Small glass jars, hand-labeled. The label reads, Rukna Rabota. Handmade, in Cyrillic.
Open the jar. The aroma rises immediately. A light coniferous aroma. Pine and boreal forest.
Pick up a chip. The branching structure catches light. Place it on the tongue. First, the crunch.
Extraordinarily crispy. The starch content shatters under pressure. Then it dissolves. Faster than any conventional chip.
Base notes arrive first. Earthy, faintly mushroomy, the forest floor. Then the berries. Cloudberry warmth, apricot and musk.
Lingonberry sharpness cuts through. Tart, clean. Blueberry rounds it out. Deep, familiar, the bridge between earth and fruit.
Sweet and savory, forest and fruit. A combination that exists nowhere else in food. Redzepi published the recipe. Crispy reindeer moss, sep powder, and cream fresh.
The plating called for non-edible elements. Pebbles, bark, branches, green moss. The food was meant to evoke a place. Not just feed, transport.
This approach spread globally. Foraging became a fine dining practice. Wild food suppliers noted a surge in demand. Chefs seeking reindeer moss.
But demand raised a question. Can you harvest a century-old organism sustainably? A handful taken in seconds. 50 years of growth gone.
One researcher warned directly. Wild collected lichens are not a sustainable menu item. The lichens being served could be 100 years old. That is not renewable at restaurant scale.
The fine dining world had discovered something extraordinary. But discovery carries responsibility. Behind every exquisite chip lies an uncomfortable question. One that goes deeper than flavor.
Return to the tundra. The same ground, different eyes. Every pale mat took decades to form. What we walk on is older than we are.
A handful harvested in seconds. 50 years of growth removed in one motion. In parts of its range, legally protected. An endangered species in the British Isles.
Climate change adds pressure. Warmer temperatures, shifting rainfall, increased UV radiation. The lichen responds by producing more protective acid.
More acid means more processing needed for safety. The preparation becomes harder. The carpet is thinning in some regions. Satellite data confirms what herders already knew.
After fire, lichen needs decades to recover. In the meantime, reindeer go hungry. This is the tension. Ancient food meets modern appetite.
But scale matters. Arctic kitchen harvests by hand, small batches. Not industrial, not mechanized. One person, one basket, one afternoon.
The impact of artisan harvest on a landscape this vast is minimal. A patch recovers in a few decades. The problem is not small producers. The problem is if everyone wants it.
This organism cannot be farmed at speed. It resists industrialization by its nature. Perhaps that is the lesson. Some things are valuable because they cannot be scaled.
The Sami people understand this. They have managed reindeer and lichen for 1,000 years. The Sami food renaissance is now global. The Ilu cookbook won international awards.
It documents reindeer herding, berry gathering, lichen processing. Indigenous knowledge on the world stage. This is not nostalgia. It is assertion. Living food culture demanding recognition.
New Nordic cuisine proved something important. Terroir is not exclusively Mediterranean. The subarctic has its own vocabulary of flavor. Lichen, reindeer, cloudberry, sea buckthorn, birch sap.
Russia's Arctic gastronomy festivals build regional pride. 9 regions, 9 distinct traditions. Lichen chips sit at the intersection. Ancient ingredient, modern product, cultural memory.
Every fragment carries information. Decades of Arctic air, mineral-rich soil, extreme seasonal light. Stress compounds layered over years. Polysaccharides built season by season.
An organism that survived desiccation, darkness, and wind. Then survived human processing. Processed through techniques refined over centuries. By peoples who shared their ecosystem with caribou.
Infused with berries gathered from the same ground. Cloudberry, lingonberry, blueberry.
Sweetened just enough. Dried until glass brittle. Then sealed in a small glass jar. From the Kola Peninsula to wherever you are.
Consider what you hold. Not a snack, a compression of time. 10 grams, $7. A handful of the Arctic.
Among the most expensive foods per gram on Earth. But the cost is the point. Cannot be made cheaper without being made worse. Speed and lichen do not coexist.
So eat it slowly. This is not fuel. It is an experience. The crunch arrives. Shattering, crisp, then dissolution.
Forest floor, mushroom, earth. Then cloudberry warmth rolls in. Lingonberry sharpness. Blueberry depth. The finish lingers.
Nothing else tastes like this, because nothing else takes this long to make. Back on the tundra, the lichen does what it has always done. It waits.
3 millimeters this year. 5 the next. Maybe 11 if conditions are right. 100 years from now, this patch will feed a reindeer. Or end up in a glass jar.
Either way, it will have earned its place. Through patience alone. The 100-year bite. Worth every second.